Inside the last 22 minutes of the SportsMax zone for this Friday, we're going to talk some cricket now. The Super 12 phase of the ICC T20 World Cup will bowl off on Saturday with 2 games in the early match. Australia plays South Africa in Abu Dhabi, while in the late match, England battle the West Indies at the Dubai International Stadium in a repeat, of course, of the 2016 final. The England captain, Owen Morgan, says while the Windies are a strong team, his side has come a far way since that loss to the Caribbean men in the 2016 final at Eden Gardens. Now, despite losing both warm-up matches to Pakistan and Afghanistan, the Windies captain Kieron Pollard says his boys are in high spirits.
I think the mood is upbeat. Yes, we accept that, the 2 warm-up games would not have gone, how we wanted in terms of, scoring the amount of runs and the sort of intent that we're looking for. But, be that as it may, I think, before the guys joined the camp, with pre-IPL players joining, for that final, we had a good couple of days of, good, intense, sessions and guys understanding roles and responsibilities. And, we get a sense that the guys are up for it. The guys are just looking forward to start this tournament. And as I said, yes, we accept that we didn't do well in the warm-up games, but, be that as it may, it is what it is. We move on from that and we look forward to tomorrow.
Yeah, so here with us to preview the match is cricket analyst Nikhil Uttamchandani. He's from Barbados, and we know, Nikhil, how excited you get about T20 cricket. Before we talk about England, West Indies, how big is this explosive one-month tournament going to be, and who do you think are the favourites?
Well, thank you so much. And it's obviously, massive tournament upcoming, the World T20, the West Indies, 2-time champions, and, they start off against a team which I think both of these teams, to your question, are favourites in this tournament. West Indies, obviously 2-time champions, know how to win and got experienced players that have done it at this level for such a long time. But this England team, don't count them out, because over the last 4 years in T20 cricket, they've worked themselves to be sort of a juggernaut in T20 cricket internationally. And they're also going for the double 150 over World Cup, which they won in 2019, and now trying to win that T20 World Cup. So I think, this could be a runs fest. It is Dubai, good for batting, good for the seamers as well. And very excited to see the contest. There's a lot of good teams in this tournament, but for me, I would have to say England and the West Indies favourites.
Yeah, so why wouldn't India be favourites, Nikhil? Because they, man, for my money, have more match winners than any other team in the tournament.
No, it's a valid point. I think definitely, they have to be regarded as favourites. And I'll tell you why. Mainly, I think because they've just had an IPL in the UAE where they had 13 IPL matches, and every single one of their players would have played in the UAE and acclimatized to conditions, whereas other teams don't have that luxury. Yes, there were some overseas players, but they didn't have every single player, including the reserves, including the guys that won't be playing. So that is a massive advantage itself. But I just think, India, when they get to the semi-finals, I expect the West Indies and the Englands to come good. But they are definitely a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, and Nikhil, earlier today in the press conference, Kieron Pollard said, of course, they are doing a lot of work behind the scenes to ensure that they cover all their bases. However, based on what we've seen in the warm-up matches, it is a bit worrying. What do you think are the areas that the West Indies need to improve the most on if they really are to go on and win it a 3rd time?
Well, I think is an excellent question. The main thing that I would like to see them do is sort of attack those power play overs. They've got explosiveness, they've got depth right through the innings. And when you've got that batting to number 9, Dwayne Bravo, or even a Hayden Walsh Jr. at number 10, you can afford to risk some wickets in the power play. I think the power play, which we've seen so crucial in the IPL, the winners of the power plays go on to win the games, so more often than not. I think the power play overs they need to target with the bat, Lendl Simmons, Evan Lewis at the top of the order, and then a Shimron Hetmeyer, who just had the highest strike rate in the IPL of 168. He was batting at 5 and 6 then. I want to see him come up the order, face the spin, because there will be spinners employed in those power play overs, and get the West Indies off to a flyer.
Yeah, and Chris Gayle, a person that has been in discussion, we've been talking about him for some time since he was selected. For 2021, he has scored a total of 227 runs in 16 T20 internationals. Do you see him playing tomorrow?
Well, if I have to put my selector hat on, I actually think, this might be a bit surprising, but I actually don't think Gayle will start. Yes, it is Dubai and sort of the ball comes onto the bat a lot nicer, but I just look at sort of the way Roston Chase constructed his innings, 54 from 58 deliveries. It was a slow strike rate. But I think he showed what the West Indies sort of need and what they missed in the Sri Lanka series where, you know, they lost early wickets and didn't have someone to stabilize. I think Hetmeyer and Chase you could see at number 3 and 4, regardless of the order. But I do think it will be kind of tough for Gayle to get in. That being said, it is Chris Gayle. He is, you know, a resident performer in the big stage, and he's got a good record against England as well. 13 matches, 409 runs. That strike rate over 150, and he averages 34. So Gayle is this type of player which, whenever he has a point to prove, he always comes good for the West Indies, and a lot of people have been, you know, asking questions of him. So this could be his day.
Nikal, the golf pitches will take a particular kind of bowling. All of the analysts who we respect say the bowling unit is the weakest aspect of the Windies' assault on a third T20 title. And if you agree with that, on a fair pitch, who are the specialist bowlers you will pick to support, of course, DJ Bravo, who will be in the team?
Well, I think, George, it's a great question because of the fact that, you know, it has been a weaker area of the West Indies throughout the year in the 17 T20 internationals that they would have played. For me, it has to be Obed McCoy. He had, you know, problems with his shins in the CPL. He was in and out of the St. Lucia's Kings team. But if Obed is fit, based on the skill, the expertise we saw with his slower deliveries, you know, those two, Bravo and McCoy, have worked so well together at the death. Now, without the likes of a Shadon Kutcher or Jason Holder, I'm eager to see if, you know, they ask McCoy and Bravo to bowl some overs in the power play. But I think, for me, the key will be Obed McCoy. And I'm not going to rule out O'Shane Thomas either. A pitch like Dubai tomorrow, I wouldn't rule out seeing O'Shane Thomas at this venue. 105 wickets were taken by pace to 40 by spin in the IPL in those 13 matches. So I might go for that extra bit of pace from O'Shane Thomas.
Is Hayden Walsh Jr. penciled in for you for every game just because of what he does and the fact that really you don't have anybody else in the side with the specialist deliveries that he does?
I think Hayden, you know, yes, he had a tough CPL, but the year that he's had in international cricket, I think it was 12 wickets in 9 matches. But what stands out to me is the economy rate. Just 6.88 economy rate in those 9 internationals. Obviously, he was brilliant against Australia. I think he provides that extra bit of difference in the West Indian attack. And I think for me, George, he's a lock because of simply his control on the international stage. And we know his abilities when he gets it right. So I think he could be a massive wicket-taking option for the West Indies.
Well, team, you heard the young man say Hayden Walsh Jr. is a lock. He plays every game for him. And that's the reason perhaps that the selectors went with him in the squad at this time, because they're looking at having a good spin option to support the pace options elsewhere. Nikal, thank you very much, my friend. We'll talk again. All the best to you.
Thank you so much, guys, for having me, and let's hope the West Indies can start in winning vein.
Yep. I want the West Indies to win the opening game, but even if they don't, I'm still not worried.
They're winning. We're ready.
You mean they're beating
Mission Maroon.
Well, as far as Nickel is concerned, the best 2 teams in the tournament are playing the opening game, England and West Indies. So
Mission Maroon. That's it. Hashtag.
Break time?
Yeah,
back in a moment.
We're ready.